Commander stood on the bridge of his survey ship, watching the blue planet spin below. His three eyes studied the data streams flowing across the holographic displays. This was Sol 3, the third planet from a yellow star. It looked perfect for life. "Begin the deep scan," ordered. His crew worked quickly, sending invisible waves of energy toward the planet below. They were searching for signs of advanced civilization. Radio waves, nuclear power, satellites, pollution, anything that showed intelligent life had built a society. The scanner hummed for several minutes. Then the results appeared. "Commander," his science officer said, confusion in her voice. "We detect life, lots of it, but no civilization." Leaned forward, "Explain." "There are primates down there. They use simple tools. They live in small groups, but we see no cities, no power plants, no communications. They appear to be hunter-gatherers." Nodded slowly. The galaxy was full of primitive species. They were not ready to join the galactic community. Mark this world as available for colonization. No indigenous resistance expected. On Earth, stood on the deck of his fishing boat, pulling up nets in the Pacific Ocean. He looked like any other fisherman, wearing simple clothes and working with his hands. But beneath the water, hidden from all sensors, a massive city stretched across the ocean floor. 2 million people lived there in towers of crystal and steel. Pressed a small device behind his ear. "They're scanning us again," he said quietly. "Let them look," a voice replied in his earpiece. "They see nothing." Smiled and continued pulling his nets. The aliens in orbit had no idea what they were looking at. They saw a primitive man in a boat. They didn't see the quantum communication device in his ear, or the antimatter reactor powering the underwater city, or the defensive grid that could turn their ship into dust. Halfway around the world, Hay climbed out of her truck at a geothermal facility in Iceland. She looked tired from a long shift. To anyone watching, she was just a worker at a small power plant. But the geothermal plant was actually an entrance to one of Earth's underground cities. Beneath the ice and rock, 3 million people lived and worked in perfect comfort. "Did you hear?" her coworker asked. "The aliens are back, fourth survey this year." Hay nodded. "They'll leave soon, they always do, they never find anything." In Seoul, finished his shift at the hospital. He walked through streets that looked ancient, unchanged for decades. But beneath his feet, trains moved at incredible speeds through tunnels the aliens could never detect. Above his head, invisible shields protected the city from space radiation and prying sensors. Bought noodles from a street vendor and sat on a bench. He watched the stars come out. Somewhere up there, aliens were deciding Earth's fate. They thought humans were primitive. They had no idea that humans had been watching them for 80 years. It started when Earth detected the first alien probe. The world's leaders made a choice. They could announce themselves to the galaxy, or they could hide and learn. They chose to hide. Over decades, humanity changed everything. They stopped using radio and television broadcasts. Instead, they developed quantum communication that left no trace. They abandoned fossil fuels for fusion and antimatter. They moved their cities underground and underwater to protect against solar radiation. They built ships that used dark matter drives, producing no heat or light that sensors could detect. To the aliens, Earth looked empty, perfect for taking. Commander reviewed the final reports. "This planet has excellent resources: water, minerals, suitable atmosphere. The native primates are harmless. We'll send the colonization fleet." His science officer hesitated. "Sir, should we make contact with the natives? Galactic law requires." "They're pre-industrial," interrupted. "They barely qualify as sentient. We'll relocate them if necessary. Prepare the colony ships." The message went out across the galaxy. Sol 3 was open for settlement. 50,000 colonists prepared to make Earth their new home. On Earth, the warning came through instantly. Quantum sensors detected the alien communications. Within an hour, Every human on the planet knew that aliens were coming to take their world. Ambassador Jin stood in the command center deep below the Korean peninsula. Around him, holographic displays showed the alien fleet gathering. Hundreds of ships, thousands of colonists, all heading for Earth. "Should we reveal ourselves now?" an admiral asked. Jin shook his head. "Not yet, let them come. Let them show us who they really are, then we'll decide what to do." "And if they're hostile?" Jin smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Then they'll learn that the galaxy's most dangerous civilizations are the ones you can't see." The alien colonization fleet entered Earth's solar system 3 weeks later. They passed Mars without noticing the million humans living beneath its surface. They flew through the asteroid belt, oblivious to the mining stations harvesting resources. They approached Earth, confident and eager. Below them, humanity watched and waited. The silent world was about to speak. And when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. The alien ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars. Commander watched from his flagship as the colonization fleet landed on a chain of islands in the Pacific. The islands looked perfect, beautiful beaches, clean water, no signs of habitation. "Begin construction," ordered. "Establish the primary settlement here." Giant machines rolled out of the landing ships. They began clearing the jungle, preparing the ground for buildings. The aliens worked efficiently, having done this on dozens of worlds before. Wu watched them from his small fishing boat floating a few miles offshore. He wore old clothes and a sun-faded hat. His boat looked ancient, held together with rust and hope. But beneath the weathered deck, sophisticated sensors tracked every alien movement. "They're setting up in Zone 7, Wu said into his hidden communicator, "right on top of the underwater residential sector." "Acknowledged," a voice replied. "Continue observation, do not engage." Wu cast his fishing line into the water and waited. Below him, 200,000 people lived and worked in the submerged city. The aliens had built their colony directly above it. They had no idea. On the second day, a group of aliens encountered Saul. She was working in what appeared to be a small farm on one of the islands. She wore simple clothes and was digging in the dirt with basic tools. The aliens approached her cautiously. "Primitive native," one alien said to another. "Look at her tools, Stone Age, maybe early Bronze." Saul looked up at them and smiled. She had learned their language months ago from intercepted transmissions, but she said nothing, pretending not to understand. She pointed at her crops and made simple gestures, offering them food. The aliens laughed. "Friendly, at least. We should document this. Indigenous population, minimal, non-threatening, pre-industrial." What the aliens didn't know was that Saul's farm was an entrance to a massive underground defense network. Beneath the soil, weapon systems powerful enough to glass a continent waited silently, and Saul herself held a doctorate in quantum physics. By the third day, the alien colony had grown. Buildings rose from the cleared jungle. Fences went up. The colonists celebrated their new home, confident and happy. That's when Ambassador Jin decided it was time. Jin walked into the alien colony at noon. He wore formal clothes and carried no weapons. He walked past the guards at the gate, who stared at him in confusion. A native, here, walking like he owned the place. "I request an audience with Commander," Jin said in perfect galactic common. The guards froze. One of them dropped his weapon. You speak standard," the guard stammered. "I speak 17 languages," Jin replied calmly, "including yours. Please inform your commander that Earth's diplomatic representative wishes to speak with him." Within minutes, Jin stood before in the command center. The alien commander stared at him like he was seeing a ghost. "This is impossible," said. "You're primitive, our scans showed." "Your scans showed what we wanted them to show," Jin interrupted. "We've been monitoring your civilization for 80 years. We know about your council, your laws, your colonies. We know about the war with the 30 years ago. We know about your economic troubles and your expansion policies. Skin changed color, a sign of shock in his species. But we detected nothing. No cities, no technology, no. We chose not to be detected, Jin said simply. When we found the first alien probe 80 years ago, we made a decision. We would watch and learn before announcing ourselves. So we hid. Impossible, repeated. We would have seen orbital structures, power signatures, communications. Jin pulled out a small device and pressed a button. Holographic displays filled the air, showing images that made step backward. Earth's underwater cities glowing with lights, the underground network spanning continents, the colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan, the mining operations in the asteroid belt, the defense satellites in orbit, invisible to standard sensors. We're not primitive, Commander, Jin said quietly. We're careful. Stared at the images, his three eyes wide. Why reveal yourselves now? Because you're building on top of our homes, Jin replied. The islands you chose for your colony, 200,000 humans live beneath them. You're literally standing on top of an underwater city. Looked down at his feet as if he could see through the ground. We didn't know. We know you didn't know, Jin said. That's the problem. Your detection methods are obsolete. You can't find civilizations like ours, which means you've probably colonized other inhabited worlds without realizing it. The commander's face showed genuine horror at the thought. What do you want? Leave, Jin said simply. You have 24 hours to pack up and depart. Do so peacefully and we'll forget this happened. Refuse and we'll make you leave. Shock turned to anger. You're bluffing. We have 50,000 colonists and a full military escort. What could you possibly? Jin pressed another button on his device. Every piece of alien equipment in the colony went dark simultaneously. Lights died, computers shut down, weapons powered off. Even the flagship in orbit went silent. We control electromagnetic fields, Jin explained as the aliens panicked around them. We can turn your technology on or off at will. Jin pressed the button again. Everything powered back up. 24 hours, Commander, Jin repeated. We're not asking. He turned and walked out of the colony, leaving standing in stunned silence. That night called an emergency meeting of his officers. They were divided. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to flee. All of them were terrified. They're primitives with one trick, a military officer argued. We should call their bluff, attack now with everything we have. And if they're not bluffing, another officer asked, what if they really do have the technology they claim? Looked at the clock. 18 hours remained. We'll find out soon enough, he said. Commander made his decision. He would not retreat from primitives. 24 hours came and went. The alien colony continued its work, building faster now, preparing defenses. If the humans wanted a fight, they would get one. They're not leaving, Wu reported from his fishing boat. He watched alien workers constructing weapon emplacements along the beach. Permission to begin the demonstration. Granted, came the reply. Protocol 7, show them what they can't see. Wu checked his watch, beginning in 60 seconds. Inside the alien colony, Commander stood in his command center, watching the countdown timer reach 0. Nothing happened. He smiled grimly. The humans were bluffing. Continue construction. Prepare to. Every machine in the colony stopped working. Not just powered down stopped. Engines died. Computers crashed. The lights went out. Communication devices went silent. Even the personal equipment carried by individual colonists failed simultaneously. What's happening? Shouted into the darkness. His science officer tried her backup systems. Nothing worked. Sir, it's an electromagnetic pulse. No, wait. It's not an EMP, it's something else. They're not destroying our electronics. They're controlling them. Every circuit, every wire, every connection, they're controlling all of it. In orbit, the alien flagship experienced the same thing. Weapons offline, engines dead, life support running on emergency backup only. The ship hung in space, helpless. "This is impossible," the ship's captain whispered. On Earth, sat in the military command center buried 3 miles below the Korean peninsula. Around her, hundreds of operators worked at their stations. Holographic displays showed every alien ship, every alien soldier, every alien device on or near Earth. Phase 1 complete, reported. All alien technology disabled, no casualties. Begin Phase 2, came the order from above. Nodded to her team, light them up. Wu watched from his boat as the ocean around the alien colony began to glow. Soft blue light rose from the depths, growing brighter and brighter. The aliens rushed to the beach, staring in horror as an entire city revealed itself beneath the waves. Towers of crystal and steel rose from the ocean floor. Streets filled with light wound between buildings that scraped the surface from below. Gardens and parks showed green through the clear water. And people, thousands and thousands of people, went about their lives, visible now through windows and walkways. "Dear gods," an alien whispered, "there's a city down there, a massive city." 2 million inhabitants, a voice said in perfect galactic common. They turned to see standing on the beach. She wore a white lab coat over casual clothes. "We've lived here for 40 years. You built your colony right on top of us." Held up a device. "This is a holographic projector. I'm going to show you something." Images appeared in the air above the beach. They showed the alien fleet arriving at Earth. But now the images revealed things the aliens had never seen. Human ships, dozens of them, had followed the alien fleet all the way from the edge of the solar system. Dark shapes that produced no heat, no light, no emissions. They had been there the whole time, invisible. "We tracked you from the moment you entered our system," explained. "These are stealth vessels. They use dark matter drives. Your sensors can't detect them." More images appeared. Human colonies on Mars, massive dome cities housing over 1 million people, mining stations in the asteroid belt, research facilities on Europa and Titan. All of it hidden, all of it invisible to alien sensors. How demanded, how is this possible? "We went dark 80 years ago," said. "When we detected your first probe, we realized the galaxy was crowded and potentially dangerous, so we hid, we watched, we learned." An alien officer pointed at the underwater city. "But why? Why hide?" His expression turned sad. "Because we didn't know if you were peaceful. We studied your history. We saw your wars, your conquests, your colonies. We saw how you treated species you considered primitive. We decided to wait and see who you really were." "And now?" asked quietly. "Now we know," replied. "You came to our world without permission. You didn't check if anyone lived here. You just took what you wanted." Young's fighter jet screamed across the sky, breaking the sound barrier. But it made no noise. The stealth coating absorbed the sonic boom, the engine sounds, even the radio emissions. To the aliens below, a plane had just appeared from nowhere and vanished just as quickly. "Phase 3 complete," Young reported. "Air superiority demonstrated." "Proceed to Phase 4, ordered." High above Earth, the cloaked human ships revealed themselves. One by one, they dropped their stealth fields. The alien flagship suddenly found itself surrounded by vessels twice its size, all bristling with weapons. "Unknown ships," the alien captain screamed into his communicator. "Where did you come from?" "We've been here the whole time," came the reply in galactic common. "Watching, waiting." Back on the beach showed the final set of images. The solar system filled the air not as the aliens saw it, but as it truly was. Every planet marked with human presence. Every asteroid with a mining outpost. Every hidden facility, every secret base, every defense station. "This is our home," Commander said. "All of it. Not just Earth, the entire solar system. We've been here for decades, building, growing, preparing, and you never saw any of it. Stared at the display, finally understanding the magnitude of his mistake. His colony wasn't facing a primitive species with one or two tricks. They were facing an advanced civilization that had spent 80 years preparing for this exact moment. "What do you want?" asked, his voice defeated. "We told you," replied. "Leave, take your people and go, do it peacefully, and this ends here. Refuse and—" She let the sentence hang in the air. Looked around at his colony, his people, his dreams of a new home. Then he looked at the glowing city beneath the ocean, the ships filling the sky, the quiet confidence of the humans standing before him. "We'll leave," he said quietly. "We'll leave immediately." "Good choice," said. She pressed a button and all the alien equipment came back online. "You have 12 hours to evacuate. After that, we reclaim this island." The aliens worked frantically through the night, packing their equipment, loading their ships. By dawn, the colony was empty. The ships lifted off one by one, leaving Earth's atmosphere. On his flagship composed a message to the Galactic Council. His hands shook as he typed. "Emergency communication. Sol 3 is inhabited. Advanced civilization. Stealth capabilities beyond our understanding. Request immediate council intervention. We may have made a terrible mistake." He sent the message and watched Earth shrink in his. The blue planet looked peaceful, empty, primitive, but knew the truth now. Somewhere down there, millions of humans were watching him leave, invisible and patient as always. The silent world had spoken, and the galaxy would have to listen. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives from 300 civilizations shouted over each other, demanding answers. At the center of the circular room, Commander's hologram stood silent, letting them rage. "Impossible," shouted a delegate from Theta Prime. "We surveyed that system 12 times." "Our detection methods are the best in the galaxy," another added. "If there was an advanced civilization on Sol 3, we would have found it." Council leader raised one of his four arms, calling for silence. The room gradually quieted. "Commander, you claim you encountered a civilization capable of complete stealth, a civilization that has been hiding from us for 80 years. Can you provide proof?" Transmitted the data. Holographic displays filled the chamber, showing everything. The underwater cities, the Mars colonies, the stealth ships, the human technology that made them invisible to every sensor the galaxy used. The chamber fell silent. "This changes everything," someone whispered. Looked at the data, his face unreadable. "I'm calling an emergency session. We need to discuss what this means." He paused. "And we need to speak with these humans, immediately." 3 days later, Ben stepped through the airlock onto the Council's diplomatic station. He was Earth's chief negotiator, chosen for his calm demeanor and sharp mind. Behind him came head of Earth's intelligence service, and Ho, who would represent humanity on the Council if things went well. The aliens stared at them as they walked through the corridors. Humans, real humans, not primitive, not simple. They wore advanced environment suits and carried data devices that made the aliens' equipment look ancient. In the main conference room, Ben faced the Council. 300 pairs of eyes watched him. "Thank you for meeting with us," Ben said in perfect galactic common. "Though I should mention, this isn't our first time in this chamber." Confused murmurs filled the room. Ben smiled. "We've been monitoring Council proceedings for 63 years. Your security isn't as good as you think it is." Leaned forward. "You've been spying on us." "We prefer the term observing," Ben replied. "When you discover you're not alone in the universe, watching and learning seems wise, especially when the neighbors have weapons that can destroy planets." "We would never," a delegate began. "You destroyed the Kelvin 38 years ago," Ben interrupted. "They refused to join your economic alliance, so you claimed they were developing illegal weapons. You glassed their planet from orbit. 3 billion dead." The chamber went silent. That incident was classified. How did the humans know? Stepped forward. We know everything. Every war, every treaty, every secret deal. We've watched you for decades. We learned what kind of neighbors you are. And what did you learn? Asked carefully. That you're not evil, Bin replied. But you're not always good either. You make mistakes. You act out of fear. You assume you're the most advanced, the most powerful, and that assumption makes you blind. Ho activated a holographic display. For example, you think you've discovered and cataloged every spacefaring civilization in this region of the galaxy. You haven't. The display showed a star map. The Council's territory glowed in blue. Then, one by one, other lights appeared. Hidden civilizations, invisible to the Council's sensors. We've detected 47 other civilizations that you don't know about, Ho explained. Some are peaceful observers like us. Others are more concerning. Stood up, show us. The map zoomed in on specific systems. Here, here, and here, Ho pointed. 3 civilizations roughly at our technological level, watching you, learning. One of them has been monitoring you for 200 years. Why haven't they revealed themselves? A delegate asked. Same reason we didn't, Bin answered. They're afraid, or they're planning, or they're just not ready to deal with a galaxy that might see them as a threat. Pulled up more data, but those aren't what worry us, these do. The map changed, highlighting 6 sectors, 6 dark fleets. We call them that because we can barely detect them even with our technology. They're more advanced than us, more hidden, and they're moving. Moving where? Demanded. Toward Council space, replied, slowly, carefully, like they're preparing for something. The chamber erupted again. Fear replaced anger now. The Council had thought themselves masters of the galaxy. Now they learned they were blind, surrounded by civilizations they couldn't see. Called for order again. When the room quieted, he looked at Bin. What do you want from us? Partnership, Bin said simply. We'll share our stealth detection technology. We'll help you find these hidden civilizations and make contact properly. We'll help you prepare for whatever those dark fleets are planning. In exchange for recognition as a sovereign civilization, non-colonization treaties for our solar system, a seat on this council, and most importantly, an investigation into every world you've colonized in the last century. Why that last one? A delegate asked. Bin's expression grew serious. Because if we were invisible to you, others might be too. You might have colonized inhabited worlds without knowing it. You might have committed genocide by accident. The weight of that statement hung in the air. Delegates looked at each other, horror growing on their faces. How many worlds had they taken? How many times had they assumed a planet was empty because they detected no cities, no signals, no technology? We need to check, Bin continued. Every colony, every survey. If we find inhabited worlds, they need to be evacuated and given reparations. It's the right thing to do. Was quiet for a long moment, then he nodded. I'll put it to a vote, but I think you'll have your partnership. We need your help. One more thing, added. Those 6 dark fleets, they're not just moving, they're coordinating, which means someone or something is controlling all 6. That's not a coincidence. What do you think they're planning? Asked. Nothing good, replied. They've been gathering for years, staying hidden, and now they're moving toward your territory. Either they're about to attack or they're running from something worse. Worse? A delegate squeaked. What could be worse than 6 advanced civilizations working together? And Bin exchanged looks. We don't know yet, Bin admitted, but we're going to find out with or without your help. The vote was held that evening. 297 in favor, 3 abstaining. None opposed. Humanity was welcomed into the Galactic Council. Treaties were signed. Technology sharing began immediately. But as Bin and Ho left the station, they knew the real work was just beginning. Somewhere in the darkness of space, 6 fleets moved with unknown purpose. And somewhere beyond them, something had scared 6 advanced civilizations into coordinated action. The humans had revealed themselves to save the Council from its own blindness. Now, they needed to help save everyone from whatever was coming. "Get our ships ready," Bin said as they boarded their shuttle. "The quiet part is over. Now we hunt." 3 months had changed everything. Stood in the Council's Cultural Exchange Center, teaching a room full of alien students about Earth's history. The room was packed. Everyone wanted to learn about the species that had hidden for 80 years. "We were scared," explained, answering a question about why humans hid. "When we detected your probe, we didn't know if you were peaceful or dangerous, so we chose safety. We watched, we learned, and we prepared." An alien student raised a tentacle. "But weren't you lonely, knowing you weren't alone but staying hidden?" Smiled, "Very lonely, but we thought it was necessary. Now we know better. Hiding kept us safe, but it also kept us isolated. We're glad that's over." Across the galaxy, Hay worked in a joint research facility on Theta Prime. Human and alien scientists collaborated on new detection technology. Using Earth stealth methods, they were building sensors that could find hidden civilizations. "Try this frequency," Hay suggested, adjusting the settings. The sensor hummed to life. "Nothing there," an alien scientist said, checking the readings. "That sector is empty." Hay grinned. "Check again, but this time look for what's not there." The alien adjusted his approach, searching for absences instead of presences. Suddenly, the screen lit up. "I found. There's a civilization here, a whole planet. How did we miss this?" "Because they didn't want to be found," Hay replied. "Just like us. But now we can find them. And more importantly, we can make contact the right way." The initiative had become the galaxy's largest operation. Using human technology, the Council was finding hidden civilizations almost daily. Some had been watching for centuries. Others were newer, like humanity. All of them had chosen to hide for their own reasons. And then there were the colonies. Stepped off the transport ship onto a planet the Council had named New Terra. They had colonized it 15 years ago. The scans showed no life, no civilization. They were wrong. The native species called themselves the Vim. They lived underground, in cities carved from rock. They used biotechnology instead of electronics, which made them invisible to standard sensors. The Council had built their colony directly on top of the Vim's capital city. "I'm so sorry," said to the Vim leader. "We had no idea you were here." The Vim leader, an elderly female with fur, looked at him with sad eyes. "We knew you were there. We felt your machines digging. We thought you would discover us and stop. You never did." "We're evacuating the colony," explained. "Everyone will be gone within a month, and the Council is offering reparations. Medical supplies, technology, whatever you need." "We don't want your technology," the Vim leader said. "We want our home back." "You'll have it," promised, "and we'll help restore any damage we caused." 12 colonies had been evacuated so far. 12 worlds where the Council had accidentally invaded inhabited planets. The guilt weighed heavily on everyone involved, but the humans insisted it was necessary. If you made a mistake, you fixed it. Back on Earth, Ambassador Jin stood in the Council chamber, now as Earth's official representative. The seat felt strange. For so long, humans had watched from the shadows. Now they sat at the center of galactic politics. "The initiative has found 203 hidden civilizations," Jin reported. "We've made peaceful contact with 197 of them. 4 refused contact and asked to remain hidden, which we're honoring. 2 are still under evaluation." "And the Dark Fleets?" asked from his position as Council leader. Jin's expression grew serious. "Still moving, still coordinated. We've managed to get closer using stealth ships. We've learned some things." Stepped forward, taking over the briefing. "The 6 fleets are from 6 different species, but they're working together perfectly, too perfectly. Someone is coordinating them." "Have you identified who?" a delegate asked. "Not yet," admitted, "but we're close. Our intelligence suggests they're following orders from something called the Convergence. We don't know what that is yet." "Could it be a nation, an empire?" suggested. "Possibly," replied. "Or it could be something else. An AI network, a hive mind, a religious organization. We're still investigating." What didn't say, but what everyone feared, was the other possibility. That the dark fleets were running away from something. That they were fleeing toward Council space because something worse was behind them. "We need to know more," Jin said. "We're sending a diplomatic mission to make contact. If they're hostile, we need to know. If they're refugees, we need to help." "And if they attack?" a delegate asked nervously. Jin smiled, but it wasn't a friendly expression. "Then they'll learn what happens when you threaten a galaxy that includes humanity. We spent 80 years preparing for war. We really hope we don't have to use that preparation." 2 weeks later, Young piloted a stealth ship toward the nearest dark fleet. On board were diplomats, scientists, and soldiers. They were ready for anything. "Approaching contact range," Young reported. "Still no response to our hails." Wu, serving as military advisor, checked the weapon systems. "Stay ready. This could go bad fast." The alien fleet suddenly changed course. Every ship turned toward the human vessel simultaneously. "They see us," Young said, surprised. "They can actually detect our stealth." A message came through in a language the computer didn't recognize. But slowly, it began translating. "Humans," the message said, "we know you. We've watched you watching the Council. We've waited for you to reveal yourselves." "This is Earth Vessel Pathfinder," the human captain replied. "We come in peace. We want to talk." There was a long pause. Then, "You should not have come. The Convergence is not ready to meet you yet. Go back to your council, prepare your defenses. When we come, we will explain everything." "When you come," the captain asked, "are you threatening us?" "We are warning you," the voice replied. "The Convergence is not your enemy, but we are coming whether you want us or not. And when we arrive, the galaxy will change forever. Use the time you have. Prepare. Survive." The Dark Fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed, vanishing in an instant. Young looked at Wu. "What just happened?" "I have no idea," Wu admitted. "But I don't think they're refugees, and I don't think they're conquerors either." "Then what are they?" Young asked. "Something new," Wu replied. "Something we've never seen before." 1 year after first contact, Jin stood on Earth, looking up at the stars. So much had changed. Humanity had gone from hidden observers to essential members of the galactic community. They had friends now, allies, partners. But they also had a mystery. The Convergence was coming. The dark fleets were gathering. Something was about to happen that would change everything. Ben joined him, carrying 2 cups of coffee, thinking about the future. "Thinking about how we got here," Jin replied. "We hid because we were afraid. We revealed ourselves because it was right, and now we're at the center of something big." "Are you scared?" Ben asked. Jin took the coffee and smiled. "Terrified, but also excited. For 80 years we watched the galaxy. Now we're part of it. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Above them, invisible to every sensor, human defense satellites kept watch. Around Earth, stealth ships patrolled silently. In the asteroid belt, weapons platforms waited in the darkness. And beyond, in the deep space between stars, other civilizations watched and waited too. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. The most dangerous civilizations weren't the ones you could see. They were the ones you couldn't, and humanity had taught them that lesson well. Somewhere in the void, the Convergence moved closer. Whatever they were, whatever they wanted, they would find a galaxy ready for them. A galaxy that had learned to look into the darkness and see what was really there. The hunters had become the hunted, the hidden had revealed themselves, and the silent Earth had found its voice. Now, together with allies they had found in the shadows, humanity waited to see what would emerge from the dark. They were ready, they were watching, and they were no longer alone. The age of hiding was over. The age of unity had begun. And when the convergence arrived, they would find not a scattered collection of blind civilizations, but a galaxy prepared, unified, and determined to survive whatever came next. The story of Earth's silence had ended. The story of the galaxy's awakening had just begun.